Caitlin Clark hype is real, but a statistic that we saw on X is not. Clark's Indiana Fever jersey did sell out, but more than every single Dallas Cowboy all of last season. Basketball writer Dick Weiss posted that more Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever jerseys were sold in one day than the Cowboys sold last year for the entire.
Caitlin Clark just walked away from a $50 million deal, sending shockwaves through the WNBA.
Stop and really think about that.
Has there ever been a player in league history with the leverage to dismiss the biggest contract ever offered? That wasn't how the story was supposed to go. Clark was billed as the league's savior, the one who would change everything. But with one rejection, she's flipped the entire narrative, leaving everyone wondering, what happens to the WNBA when its biggest star says no?
All-time leading scorer in NCAA Division I history is getting her jersey retired. That's right, Iowa retiring number 22, Caitlin Clark's jersey next February. Clark, who was drafted number 1 overall by the Indiana Fever last spring. And I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. This league has been kind of built on them.
She's elevated the profile of women's basketball because she's a superstar talent. She deserves to get her jersey retired. She deserves to be celebrated at Iowa.
That's exactly what we're about to break down. But before we dive in, I've got a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying this content, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 98% of you watch these videos without subscribing. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it means the world to us. So, did you tap subscribe? Awesome. Thank you. Now, let's get back to it. Why would an entire league place its future on the shoulders of one player who hadn't even played a single professional game yet? That became the burning question once Caitlin Clark's name was tied to the WNBA's survival. Because the truth is, before she showed up, the numbers weren't painting a pretty picture. TV ratings were stagnant, local broadcasts couldn't hold viewers, and ticket sales struggled to even fill half the arenas.
Did an event with her and my guy Mark Shapiro in Iowa, that's his alma mater. 11,000 people showed up. I assure you it was not for me, it was for her. The disparity in treatment between her as a white player and black players who preceded her and achieved so much but lacked the level of recognition after advancing to the national championship game before losing to Dawn Staley in South Carolina last year. What does she do? She goes out in the WNBA and she balls out there as well, and she ends up being a league MVP candidate as a rookie.
Teams were spending more than they were bringing in, and outside of a handful of markets, WNBA games felt less like major sporting events and more like small community gatherings. For years, the conversation wasn't about expansion or momentum. It was about how much longer the league could survive operating at a loss before something drastic had to change. And then Caitlin Clark arrived. Practically overnight, she went from college phenom to must-see attraction before she even suited up for her first pro game. The media crowned her as the savior, the one player who could finally lift the WNBA out of its decades-long struggle for relevance. Her college games weren't just events. They were spectacles, sold-out arenas with fans lining up outside like it was a blockbuster concert. So, when draft night came, the league wasted no time. Clark wasn't treated as just another rookie. She was the plan. And almost instantly, the energy shifted. Arenas that normally hovered around half capacity suddenly had ticket demand so high that resale prices skyrocketed. Reporters showed up just to watch her warm-ups. And her jersey? It was flying off shelves so fast that stores had to restock again and again, sometimes within hours.
NBA sensation Caitlin Clark has scored numerous honors for her skills on the court. But Clark did more than just dazzle on the court this past season. She has quickly become one of, if not the most popular stars in the WNBA. Clark was awarded the league's Rookie of the Year award after a record-breaking season. She was the first rookie to be named the All-WNBA first team since 2008. Sports media company Boardroom says the WNBA was the fastest-growing brand in the United States.
People online compared the Clark craze to Taylor Swift concerts and blockbuster premieres. This wasn't the quiet rollout you'd expect for a rookie. It was unlike anything the WNBA had ever seen. And almost immediately, it paid off. National broadcasts featuring her teams saw major bumps in ratings, ranking among the league's most watched games in years. Sponsors who had long ignored the WNBA suddenly jumped in, rolling out ad campaigns centered entirely around her. For once, it wasn't hype about potential fans. It was real. Ratings climbing, money flowing, and arenas selling out. Within just a few months, optimism around the league reached levels unseen in over a decade. That's when the mood shifted. The WNBA brass believed that if Clark was powering the surge, the smart move was to lock her down, so they put a record-setting $50 million deal on the table. This wasn't pitched as just a contract. It was the golden ticket. The deal meant to prove the league was serious about valuing its stars. Picture the scene, the commissioner sliding the contract across the table, everyone expecting Clark to light up and sign on the spot. But instead, she shrugged. She didn't need to clutch the pen like it was life-changing. That non-reaction spread faster than the offer itself. News broke that she turned it down, and it detonated across sports media. Debate shows made it the headline topic. Social feeds exploded. Even casual fans who barely followed women's basketball suddenly had strong opinions. Some argued the WNBA finally understood a star's worth. Others claimed the rejection showed the league still didn't get it, that today's athletes think differently, that money isn't the only measure of power. The chaos wasn't about whether Clark deserved the deal. It was about what her refusal revealed about the balance of power. The league assumed she needed them, that their giant check was the anchor keeping her tied to the WNBA. But Clark flipped the script. She proved she didn't need their validation. Endorsements, cultural relevance, and mainstream influence had already placed her far above what the league could offer alone. And that's the moment the WNBA's biggest gamble was exposed. For years, they believed survival meant finding a single star to carry the torch. But when the player they'd bet everything on casually rejected their biggest offer, it revealed the truth. The problem wasn't her value. The real issue was the outdated belief that money alone could secure the league's future. Clark saying no wasn't just shocking. It forced everyone to see that the WNBA can't hinge its survival on one player or one paycheck. Because right now, the stars hold the leverage. The league needs them more than ever. But those stars? They've already proven they don't need the league to shine. So, the question isn't what Caitlin Clark does next. The real question is, how does the WNBA respond now that she's rewritten the rules?